This Week in Cincinnati is brought to you by Creeksong Community, a new residential community being developed in Lebanon, Ohio. Imagine a neighborhood which draws on its identities from the past, present, and future. Creeksong honors the history of the property by preserving the homestead and restoring the historic barn as a backdrop to the community space. Plans for the here and now include custom-built homes featuring the latest in design and living trends, and the community's pool area and park-style open spaces provide a canvas for relaxation and play. By blending the best of old and new, we hope to provide your family and friends with a unique sense of place to create meaningful memories into the future. Come to Creeksong's launch party on October 10th, featuring food, drinks, live entertainment, and tours of the property. Check out our Facebook page and give us a call at 513-409-0527 to get in touch and reserve your future custom home today. Now, on with the show.
For the week of September 14th, 2020, welcome to the 58th episode of This Week in Cincinnati, the podcast dedicated to bringing you the news of the Queen City without the filter. This week, we are talking about plastic bag bans, Burrow's debut, Cincy's top 5 breweries, and much, much more.
Glorious Cincinnati! It is sensational for Cincinnati! It's skyline time. And this one belongs to the Reds.
Cincinnati, Ohio.
WKRP in Cincinnati.
Was that like too much enthusiasm?
That seemed like a very I'm so tired enthusiasm. Like maybe if I just talk higher, it'll seem enthusiastic. So I'll take my octave up and be like, I'm talking up here.
I always talk up here. I guess maybe that's kind of my phone voice, huh?
I don't know.
No, well,
we don't talk on the phone much. I guess we
fair.
do.
Fair.
I guess. Well, since I have no clue, it's been, how long has it been? Like a month?
It's been 3 weeks. We
the problem
skipped
is
for the holiday.
The problem is COVID's taking over everything, and kids went back to school.
They did.
So let's hear all about your past 3 weeks.
Yeah, I don't know that I can even remember what happened in the past 3 weeks, but yeah, my kids did go back to school kind of. They're virtual, so they're at home. Well, they're virtual 3 days and in school 2 days. So they are at home currently, hopefully, working on stuff. We went to the lake for Labor Day. My husband came back. He's back. Sandra's back.
So for you guys that don't know, he left you for several months.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
To go to New York to be with his other mistress, a camera crew.
Yes. Yeah. So I still don't know if I'm allowed to say what he was doing.
Well, you can't. I can't. So there's New York. The husbands of Beverly Hills or the wives of Beverly Hills Housewives.
Yeah.
There's now New York City house husbands.
Yes.
And
he will be on the debut. Yes, definitely. Yeah. So, but he's back now, which is awesome. And it's funny because there were a couple of times where I would do #single mom life and people would be DMing me what's going on? And it was oh, whoops. Yeah, context.
Yeah.
But he's back, which is awesome. It was also his birthday. Happy birthday, Sandro. So we went this weekend. We took the kids down to Findlay Market Saturday morning, and they got, God help me, Fruity Pebble bagels with Nutella on them from OTR Bagel Bar, because, they don't need their teeth. And we got coffee and pastries at Deeper Roots. They have 16 Bricks pastries. They're so good. And then we dropped our kids off at my bestie's house, and she watched them. We went to Subito downtown in the Lytle Park Hotel, which was an adventure. So first we called them to see what the deal was for the roof deck, to see if we could go up there. And they're like, oh, it's just first come, first serve. There's no reservations. Because we had an 8:30 dinner reservation at Subito. But they're like, but our power's out. So check back in later. The whole hotel's power was out.
Huh.
Yeah, it was fun. So then we checked back in at 6:30. They said the power was on. So we got an Uber downtown and we went to the hotel. They were on an hour and a half wait for the roof deck. So we just went across the street to the Phelps and had a drink at the bar there. And then we came back for our reservation. We're having our very delicious dinner at Subito, and dessert comes around, and then an alarm starts going off. And we're like, oh, haha, very funny. Like, whatever. We're just going to sit here until they tell us we had to leave.
Why is that funny?
Because I keep being at places where the alarm's going off and it's like, it's a glitch. It's not like that there's an alarm. Oh, yeah, there was an alarm. We had to go outside and hang out. Luckily, it had stopped raining.
Yeah.
But we had to go outside and hang out. There were 2 weddings at the hotel and several like bachelorette situations going on. So that was obviously very entertaining for all of them when the firemen showed up, and they were very well behaved. They weren't. And but then we went in. We got our desserts comped because of the fire. The waitress told us it was because it was Sandra's birthday, but it literally said fire 1, fire 2 on the comp on the check. But it was very good. And I'm an influencer now officially. I'm not, but I had someone reach out on Facebook and ask me like what I was doing with my skin because it was very nice. And I told her, and she bought a bunch of products, some from Queen City Alchemy, that I recommended. Wasn't that fun?
Yeah, I would have thought, okay, that's a guy, first of all, and you're being catfished.
It's not. It's a girl that
But you're really an influencer. So that's good.
It was so exciting.
Did you make any money from it?
No, I mean, I just happen to love the products. It's a girl that has a store down in Finley Market.
So if you can influence one person, you're an influencer.
I mean,
at what point are you going to expect, your meals comped and discounts on everything you do in life?
I don't know, but clearly I'm on my way.
Because, part of being an influencer isn't just influencing people. It's also being what some refer to as a choosy beggar, where you have an expectation that everywhere you go, you're going to take pictures of things and share it with your 9 followers and therefore deserve a discount.
64, thank you very much.
Well, that's really good. Congratulations. I'm not an influencer. But for those of you that were hanging on my Every Word last podcast about my soccer drama.
Oh, yeah.
That has been in full swing.
Oh, let's hear about it.
So I'm coaching kids. We don't really have any kids that can strike the ball well.
Oh.
Our shooting.
That's rough.
Is hard.
So you're just a standard FC team or Cincinnati team.
We're a standard Cincinnati team. So we had our first game on Saturday.
Yep.
Okay. They came out and scored like 3 goals in the first quarter. And we even had an extra player on the field that nobody realized. Because I thought we were playing 7-on-7 with a goalie, but it was actually 6-on-6 with a goalie.
Right.
And we still got rocked. But, the second half, we got it together. I think they scored 1 goal. There were no goals in the second half. There was 1 other goal in the second quarter. So we scored 1 goal. But we got to work on crosses. We got to work on, getting the kids to power through some of their shots. So that's happening. Let's see. Went to a lake house to see my family.
Fun.
Got lectured by my parents because I don't talk enough about the times I'm with them and how much fun it is and how much I love them. Yeah. So I had so much fun and I love them so much. No, we had a good time, but I need to share with people because I don't do that enough.
Yeah, a little more coverage of Dr. and Mrs. Keppler.
Yes. So we'll be doing a separate podcast. All about
just called the Lake House.
Yeah, just all about that stuff. But no, it's nothing. Kids went back to school. Yeah. Nothing else.
Yeah. Now in your kids soccer league, is it just like regular rules? Like, can someone get blown out by like 20-2?
No. You start once you get up 5. You tone it down.
So, that's how my kids league was. And then if you were the team that was down 5, you got an extra player on the pitch. Like, per the rules, not on accident.
Yeah.
So that's
not
interesting.
So much, but
okay.
Yeah, there you go. And I watched the Bengals game and it had some emotions at least.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Some good, some bad. We'll get to that.
That's true. We'll get
here
to
in a moment.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's officially
Oh, wait, one more thing.
Yeah.
I'm also an influencer too.
Ooh, tell me about it.
I just decided that I'm going to be an influencer.
Oh, okay. Brett's down.
I influenced producer Ryan to come into work today.
That is true.
Yeah. There's a lot of people I influence, but it's all through payroll. But I still call myself an influencer.
There you go. Anybody can do it.
Yeah. Well, in business, we have 2 stories for you. Cincinnati City Council still working through well, we can't say COVID, still working through the last several months hard on really important legislation like this one, announced a new law banning single-use plastic bags last week that was 8 years in the making. The law won't be enforced until January 1st, 2021, which is when stores will have to switch to reusable bags. Cincinnati joins 400 cities and 8 states that have enacted similar laws. Kroger announced that the company plans on completely transitioning from single-use plastic bags by 2025. Not sure why it takes an additional 4 years, but there's probably some states that don't want to make that change. Farmers markets and similar temporary vendors are exempt.
So from my understanding, this is actually only food service related. So it's not clothing stores or anything like that, which a lot of them use paper bags anyway, but it's only if you sell food, if you're a restaurant or a grocery store. Yeah. And I obviously love this. I hate plastic bags. I wish everyone used reusable bags or paper bags or whatever. In Hilton Head, they don't use plastic bags because, the turtles. So Kroger down there only has paper bags. One thing I don't want to see happen is like the Target down there. They just make thicker plastic bags and call them reusable, which is complete crap. And but also one thing I don't like about this particular law that they've put in is, so it starts in January, right? For the first 6 months, the businesses are not allowed to charge customers for the reusable bags. They just have to give them a bag or be like, oh, well, you have a bag or we don't give you one.
What's wrong with that? How's that any different than the mask situation?
Well,
no, but masks when people walk in.
Yeah, but the businesses are allowed to charge for them.
Oh, a nickel.
So after 6 months, but that pays for the bag. Right. After 6 months, the business will be allowed to charge for the reusable bags. But I just feel like for small businesses, that's a big cost to have to absorb for 6 months, depending on what kind of reusable bag, or you can just say switch to paper,
or you can just Costco it and say carry it out yourself.
Yeah. Well, no, they can, but we'll just have to see what their customers say.
You're welcome to make trips.
Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah. Hopefully.
No, I think most people will. I think there'll probably be a cost-effective option, but this is what I like. So I was like, you know what? I'm all for the plastic bag ban, but I bet there's a whole subsect of people that are against it. So I'm like, plastic bag conspiracy, and there's all sorts of fun stuff. So let me tell you, I'll give you the flip side.
Tell me about
as they say. Okay. So first of all, they talked about how all the turtles are dying, and that is the plastic bags. It's all coming from like China. They said that in terms of mismanagement of waste, which is littering and stuff flowing into the ocean, they said the U.S. makes up like 1% or like 1 to 2% of all waste. It makes its way to the ocean, which still should go down. I agree with that, but that's not going to be a plastic ban fix or a plastic bag fix. They said, really, the turtles are going to keep dying because China's a bunch of assholes. Yeah. So that's like myth or theory number one. So turtles,
gotcha.
Yeah, get mad at them. The second one was like, it's so cheap and the carbon footprint is so small because these plastic bags, like, they're super easy to make. Then once you have to start making these ones that are 40% larger, then you need to make sure you use these bags like 14 times each for them to break even in terms of carbon footprint when you take into account how much it costs to make them. And blah,
these
blah,
are
blah.
the ones like the Target ones that I talked about, right?
Yeah. The thicker plastic, they're like 40%, but they're just like thicker. But they're like they're like 20 times thicker, but it's because that plastic bag's so small. Then they also said that, well, now how's everybody going to pick up their dog poop? So they're going to start buying separate plastic bags.
Yeah. Well, a lot of those, like I have compost ones for my composting in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And I used to not use bags at all, but it just gets so gross. And then the compost thing gets gross. And then no one uses it. So we use compostable bags for that. So that would be an alternative for the dog poop one. It's just using compostable ones. I just hope that everybody doesn't switch to paper, because the paper bags actually for the environment, they break down faster, but you got to kill trees. We just need to start looking at complete
they said the amount of water that gets used to make those bags.
Yeah, it's bad. But, I also can't see taking my Chinese takeout in my denim reusable bag, because that's gross.
Well, I think we just need to all stop buying crap.
Well, yes.
That would solve that problem.
Yes. Oh, I watched WALL-E yesterday. Well, I fell asleep. That's what that was about.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
at least part
I better watch it, since you had such a glowing review that you fell asleep. My wife's watching the home edit. Are you watching that right now?
I don't know what that is.
It's these two girls that Reese Witherspoon likes. She's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get you a show on Netflix. And they go and they organize people's stuff. Right? So all it's doing is it's giving all these women mostly the motivation to start a project and then never finish it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, hey, let's go spend $1,000 on containers so that we can pour our cereal into a plastic container, then we can see it. I'm like, okay, now you're telling me I got to wash all these things?
Yeah, I mean,
they want everything to look pretty. They want all your storage to look pretty.
Yeah,
stupid.
I like my storage to look pretty. I mean, I don't with my cereal boxes and stuff.
Anyways,
okay, so our
moving
other
on.
business story: 17% of students at UC last year didn't have a stable place to live, and the student government just passed a bill to help with that issue. UC has always helped move homeless students into empty dorm rooms or apartments, but they were still stuck with a bill at the end of the semester, which is not good. They most likely couldn't afford that, obviously. So now students can get this bill covered by the UC student government, who can either pull funds straight from their annual budget or from the UC Foundation or donations. In other news, UC also had a record number of admissions this year with 46,400 plus students, continuing 8 straight years of record enrollment. So that's good.
So that means like 1 out of every 6 kids doesn't have a stable place to live.
Yeah.
That seems awfully high.
It's a lot.
So let's ask our UC resident Ryan. A, did you have a stable place to live at UC? And B, did you know anyone that did not have a stable place to live?
I lived at home. And no.
Okay, so he lived at home.
But I will say a lot of places my friends lived, really shitty.
Well, yeah, there's a difference between living in a crap hole
Yeah.
and it not being... Like, what do they expect a stable? Like a stable air conditioning unit? No. I think they mean, like, maybe there's just a gigantic segment of kids.
I think they mean, like, they have to have a bed, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
maybe,
and
I
it's
think...
just a consistent place to go. Yeah.
Yeah, because, like, a lot of kids might just... Like, they might just get those loans to, like, get in the door. And then it's like... Well, I can't stay home because, one, either it's far away or, like, I have a bad situation at home. So, like, I'm just going to go to UC and, like, couch surf, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I can say I went to Bowling Green. I didn't go to UC because I didn't want to have to stay at home. And at Bowling Green, I was able to get enough student loans and stuff like that to pay for my housing, which was nice. But I also had scholarships, so I was lucky. But yeah, I mean, if I hadn't have, my parents weren't helping out. So I can't imagine it's very easy to pay for housing.
Yeah. Well, it's a shocking number.
That's a shocking number. I agree. I'm glad that they're doing something to help, especially with everything going on.
So I don't know what they're doing with the like virtual learning. Oh, you want to hear a story?
Yeah.
So we had a summer nanny who went to UC. Okay.
Yep.
She went back like 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. She already has COVID.
Oh no.
Yeah. Now I don't have it. I haven't seen her since
Yeah.
then. But yeah, I just think it's like just every college kid's gonna get it.
It's
and
possible.
It's just what it is.
Possible. Well, and it's just how they deal with it too. It's like some campuses are keeping them on campus and keeping them contained. So because as we have heard through everything, hopefully a lot of these young people won't be heavily affected by it.
Yeah.
But it's, are they going home and giving it to grandma and grandpa is the problem. So it just depends on what they're doing.
Did you see the video camera? I know we're not supposed to talk about COVID, but I don't care. You saw the body cam footage of Miami University Oxford Police that showed up at the house where they're like, hey, you can't be having parties. And he's like, oh, it's all right. We all have COVID. Like, who does? Like, literally everyone at this party. Like, we all have
God.
it. So it's not a big deal.
Oh,
and the guy's like, he's like, we're not. I think he got like $100 ticket or something.
Yeah.
Now they're kicking out students left and right. Who violate things. I think in Miami it's like, well, I mean, on one hand it's responsible. Like some of the people, at least the babysitter, she's like, I had a cold for a day, and she's like, that was it. I'm like, okay, well, that's cool, I guess. No, not.
Well, I think the problem is they're not sure what the long-term effects are, if there are going to be long-term health effects, because it affects the lungs and things like that. So that could be the issue. If she could have a quality of life issue for the rest of her life now, that could be a problem.
All right, as a kid, did you get chicken pox?
I did, actually. Yeah.
Your parents put you on around a sick person to get chicken pox, right?
No.
You just got it yourself.
I just got it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, a lot of the parents will be like, "Oh, Jimmy has chicken pox. Let me bring my kids over. Hey, kids,
I've heard
rub
of that.
on Jimmy's skin and get chicken pox."
I've heard of that.
Right?
Yeah.
But then, because then you wouldn't die in the future.
Chicken pox parties.
Yeah, chicken pox parties. So did you have a chicken pox party? You're a little bit younger. No. Everyone's like, hey, let's just give them this shot instead. So
my kids are vaccinated for chicken pox.
So, we were trying to get everybody sick intentionally.
Mm-hmm. Well, because if you get it in as an adult, it can be very serious. Though,
yeah.
Right?
So is COVID like this generation's chicken pox?
I don't know. We don't. Well, I guess that's the thing is we just don't know. I mean, we do try to protect
Except people
our
are
kids
dying
from everything now. Yeah.
And
no,
it's
we don't.
and it's a huge. Okay.
Yeah, it's bad.
All
okay.
right.
Anyway, back to the no COVID.
Yeah. In politics, we have one story for you. We should have two. I'll talk about the second one.
Billions and
this first one, register to vote. We'll save you from a political story here, but here's a reminder to register to vote. You have until October 5th to register to vote in Ohio, with the early voting period running from October 6th through November 2nd. If you don't know where to start, head to vote.org. So, are you getting text messages yet? Like, I'm getting one to say, "Hi Samantha, I work for Joe Biden. Are you voting early or at home or whatever?" And I'm like, and I always respond to the same way. I say, I'm voting early on election day. And then I'm like, what's the bot going to say to that? Because it's like, two key words. So then they send me something like, okay, that's great. You can get information on voting here. I'm like, how much you Venmo me? Then I go in like my, how much you Venmo me for my vote? And then eventually I get something back that says, I'm sorry, that's illegal. And then I just carry on conversations with these people because I'm like, seriously. It's like, I won't tell nobody. $10. And I think it's funny.
Oh, dear.
No one else does.
You're terrible.
But anyways,
these are volunteers. Leave them alone.
Let's talk about the other story, which was apparently on Saturday.
Ooh, what happened?
A bunch of trucks started driving around 275 with Trump signs out the back.
Yeah, there were a bunch of accidents and no one could get anywhere. Yeah. Like, I don't care. I literally don't care who you're supporting. It was incredibly irresponsible.
Everything's irresponsible.
Like, what, the cops don't have anything better to do?
Well, so there was an accident, which was bad. But I remember, like, driving to my soccer game being like, what are all these trucks doing with flags out the back? And they were all on the way there. And apparently my mom's cousin that lives here, and he's pretty well off, worked at P&G for a long time. Mm-hmm. He got his truck out, donned his flags and everything, and he drove around the loop and said it took him an hour and a half to drive the loop.
Yeah.
But it's, so that happened. And, our office is in Blue Ash, for those that don't know. Mm-hmm. And I remember now I'm seeing people protesting in Blue Ash, or not protesting, what's it called? Supporting, cheering, campaigning-ish?
Sure.
Whatever it's called. Anyways, now I'm seeing Biden stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
And, I realize that I think...
Well, we're getting close. Early voting starts in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, anyone that I see campaigning... I'm like, I'm not going to vote for that person. I just don't want to vote for anybody. Yeah, well, I think it's where I am right now.
Wrong. That's not
Here comes the quarterback, Burrow, looking for a block, and he got it up in the front by Hopkins into the end zone. Touchdown! What a
so our Cincy sports update this week. A lot going on, actually. FC Cincinnati are struggling. The Orange and Blue continue to ride the struggle bus, losing 2-1 to NYC FC over the weekend. Were they playing at Red Bull Stadium?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I saw. I was so confused. FCC did manage to score after failing to put the ball in the net for 5 straight games. They've lost 3 times and tied 3 times since the regular season started back up, and they're the second worst in the Eastern Conference, so that's fun. They'll face the Red Bulls, Philadelphia Union, and NYCFC again over the next 2 weeks. Sorry. I didn't watch the game. I was at Subito while the game was going on, and I was getting the alerts on my phone, and I was just annoyed. Just annoyed. The Reds also continue to struggle. They are 6.5 games back from the Cubs after the weekend. That's a lot further than before. That's sad. They stand 21-26. Or 21-26 is their record. They need to clean up the final 13 games of the season against the Pirates, White Sox, Brewers, and Twins to salvage a late wild card spot for October. Again, we talked about this. Like, it's still possible because the way the season's so...
Well, I think everybody gave up and they're all focused on the Bengals right now. But let's get back to...
True.
Explain to me why FC Cincinnati is just called FC Cincinnati, and yet there's another team that's called the Red Bulls. Like, why...
You mean NYC? Is that what you're talking about?
No. I'm talking... Okay, so you said they'll face the Red Bulls, right?
Okay,
so why isn't they...
So...
Where are they at?
I actually just had this conversation with my girlfriend, Rose. Shout out.
Mm-hmm. We love you, Rose.
So, like, the original 10
I wish
teams...
the video was right now watching you creep up to the camera and talk in the corner.
Did I tell you that Sandro asked why we took away Ryan's mic?
You get an hour full of Ryan this week.
Yeah.
So the original 10 teams in 96, they're like LA Galaxy, Columbus Crew, New York Red Bulls, Chicago Fire. Okay. And everyone since then, FC Cincinnati, Atlanta United, LAFC, Real Salt Lake, just all these boring St. Louis FC, New York City FC.
Okay, we get it.
So it's just all.
And the reason why they didn't choose to have a figurehead was because
it's just boring. It's just MLS. They're all trying to be
They're trying to be so FC
Europe
means football club, and
so
Real is actually Royal. So the Royal St. Louis, whatever.
Well, so they're all like,
Louis,
we're too cool.
Salt Lake.
We just want to have. I think it's because no one wants to sponsor them. I guarantee
maybe
so the Red Bulls are a little bit different because they have an entire sports entity. They have soccer teams in almost every single league in the world.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they just we want to buy up a spot in every league, and they're just all called the Red Bulls, Red Bulls in Germany, Austria.
So, so if Yeti came and gave FC Cincinnati a bunch of money and said we would be called the Yetis, they'd be called the Yetis. It just comes down to money.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Get over yourself.
For sure.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
Go get some money. Quit taxing us to build your stadium. Okay, let's talk football. Let's talk the real football. All right, the Burrow era got off to a typical Bengals start after losing to the Chargers 16-13. Burrow rushed for a touchdown early in the first half to give the Bengals a lead, but a rough offensive line and a bad interception by Burrow late in the fourth quarter helped them cough up the lead. But with 50 seconds left in the game, Burrow led the Bengals down the field, scoring a game-winning touchdown that was called back due to an offensive pass interference penalty on A.J. Green, which was crap. The Bengals didn't kick the field goal or try to kick the field goal. I'm not going to read this. I'm just going to tell you what happened, all right? Because whoever wrote this, Anyway, so let me give you the game in a nutshell, all right? Burrow came out, got rattled hard, okay? They were sending all sorts of people. The line sucked. They didn't really give him much protection. He also held on to the ball for too long. Got knocked down a bunch of times, tried to do this little dink, almost like he's shooting a basket type of passes, which were bad. Just made some very big rookie mistakes. All of a sudden, he looked good because the Chargers decided to play a prevent defense where they said, hey, we're just going to protect the end zone. All right, we're going to give you the middle. We're not going to rush you. And all of a sudden, you're like, well, this guy's good. Well, he put the throws in the right place, but at the same time, we still don't know if he can play without, a bunch of pressure.
Right.
So we got to work on some things.
Well,
but they should have won the game. It should have been called a touchdown. The final point was okay, and then they had a field goal to kick it, and Randy Bullock, who hasn't missed a kick.
Oh, didn't he pull a calf muscle?
Yeah,
come on, it was
it was a bad kick.
The
other kicker on the other team also pulled something. Something's going on.
Yeah,
the field sucked or something. I don't know. But anyways, he shanked it. All of a sudden, grabbed his leg. Who knows if it's real or not?
This game, he said he hurt his left leg, but.
Okay, so
so you think he just missed it and was like, my leg.
He's old enough. He's been through disappointment. Something actually happened. But anyways, okay, moving on. All right, Bearcats, UC. I guess they're playing football. I didn't even know. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh, there's college games on. And they're ranked number 13 in the top 25 because there's only 13 teams playing this year. So good job, UC. No, I guess they're going to be good. And they locked down some coaches. And I don't know. Do they have their first game this coming weekend? This Saturday against Austin, PA on ESPN+. There you go.
Okay.
Moving on.
76 teams.
Okay. All right. The reason we took your microphone away.
In entertainment.
Can't keep chiming me in on a podcast. We don't have a mic. It just sounds weird.
In entertainment, we have 3 stories this week.
I could eat about 1.5 million of these. My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
First, we're talking about top 5 Cincy breweries. The Cincinnati Enquirer released their most recent top 5 power rankings for Cincinnati breweries. Hey, this is not like some random magazine that I've never heard of. Keep in mind, of course it is the Enquirer, but still. Keep in mind these are totally subjective. Number 5, 50 West. Number 4, Brink. 3, Sonder. 2, Listerman. And 1, Street Side. Stay tuned for producer Ryan's personal rankings in the cleanup. I don't think I've ever been to any of those. I think.
So 50 West has a pretty big presence
They
and
do.
following. But
They
like,
do.
I mean, is it like, hey, let's not put Rheingeist and Matry on here just because they've gotten enough publicity?
Maybe.
Is that
well, I think I'm not going to lie. Ever since I found out Rheingeist wasn't local and that it was like Silicon Valley money, I've kind of like blown them off a little bit. Like I would rather support a more local brewing experience.
Okay. So
but
like
I think
Matry?
Matry's
I mean, they
local,
employ a lot of people locally.
Oh, they really do. No, that's true. But they don't need me.
Okay.
I'll influence for somebody else.
You tell Barb, whatever her name is, who bought the face cream, that she should support these 5. No, I don't know what Brink is. For me, it's kind of just
Heard
like
of them.
So Sonder we go to all the time because it's up by me, and you can
Okay,
bring your
that makes
kids.
sense.
In fact, we were there this after our soccer game.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, day drinking is getting harder the older that I get. But anyways, all right. Well,
True story.
On top of that, there's 3 new breweries that opened. Shop for the first time in Cincy, Esoteric Brewing opened its doors in Walnut Hills. No clue what that's about, but it's the city's first minority-owned brewery.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
Now, I thought that the one out, there's one in Lincoln Heights that I thought was a minority-owned brewery.
First one like in the actual city limits.
'Kay.
There is one other one that's like.
Yeah, there's I think it's called Cincinnati Brewing Company that's in Lincoln Heights that I thought was minority-owned.
Okay.
Let's see. Braxton moved across the river. They opened up. It looks like a pretty cool little shop. I looked at the photos, and it looks neat.
Oh, nice. They're open?
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to check it out.
And then Old 3 Points Brewing.
That's where it was
sorry.
at the Old 3 Points
And then there's
Brewing, yeah.
Rebel Metal Brewing, who just started pouring. That's how we say it now. On West 4th Street in downtown. And they'll specialize in German Pilsners and lagers. I have no interest in that one.
Well, but the one thing I will say is German Pilsners and lagers is a little more traditional. It's a little less of the like, how fruity can we get and still have people drink our pumpkin beer?
Well, what's the one over there across the river, the big Stein place? What's it called again? Hofbrauhaus? Yeah, it's like Hofbrauhaus.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
I guess.
I mean, I know a lot of people that aren't on the
forever.
craft brewing scene.
Yeah.
And so this will just be, you don't have to drink a Coors Light, I guess. But all right, so Cincinnati Customs and Border Control agents scored big once again this year, our favorite topic. In 2020, they seized over 2,200 fake driver's licenses over the course of 343 different shipments. Agents also seized 2 stolen Social Security cards, 5 counterfeit or stolen passports, ooh, that's a big one, and 1 stolen visa. Most of the counterfeit IDs were made in China and sent from Africa. Cincy Customs agents also found something strange in a series of large bags of dried chili peppers imported from Thailand. Can't wait. The shipment was headed to Buffalo, New York, and contained dried frogs and insects, along with the remains of an endangered primate from Sri Lanka. Agents also found 22 pounds of endangered turtle bones, yikes, in a separate Thailand shipment. What is going on, people? Get a job.
Get a job.
That is their job.
I think their job
get a legal
is
job.
You know what? So I'm talking to I learned a lot from our summer nanny. Mm-hmm. So I'm talking to her about like, what do kids do these days? Because when we would go to the bars, right, we would have to get these big black X's if we were underage.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm like, do you guys do that too? Is like, and then, do you wash them off? And then when you want to go upstairs, you have to put your X's back on. So
Right.
you take.
Can you get into a bar at 18 at
In Ohio,
anywhere?
sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I know you could when we were kids, but...
Oh, yeah. Well, you used to be able to drink beer at 18 back in the day.
Well, my dad could. They had 2 different levels of ABV, and the lower level of ABV you could drink at 18, and the higher level of ABV you had to be 21.
Right. Well, getting back to my story. Not that isn't good to know. So I'm like, so how do the kids do it, right? What are the kids up to these days?
Yeah.
She's like, oh, well, we all have fake IDs. And I'm like, okay, well, we had fake IDs too, but how's it work with a scanner? She's like, oh yeah, it'll you can run through the scanner. It shows up fine. She's like, we can buy beer at Kroger if we want to. I'm like, well, do you just have it or does everybody? She's like, no, like everybody has it.
Yeah.
It takes a little while to get, but we all get them our senior year. I was like, what? It's even easier now.
Yeah. Well, are we shocked? Everything's easier now. Except getting an Uber on a Saturday night downtown, 20-minute wait. What the crap?
Oh. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, so that's where all the stuff that they confiscated, this is where it's coming full circle. All the 2,200 fake driver's licenses was probably going to the entire UC campus.
That's entirely possible.
Or all the high schools.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. People
sure
are going to be
was.
like, so right now all these like seniors are like, no, no. And then all the other people like, our turtle bones. No. And you have all these people who are just really sad.
I want to see those people.
What do you do with turtle bones?
That's what I'm saying. I want to see what these people look like.
Make a stew? What do you do with those?
I don't know.
It probably has something to do with like penis fertility. I feel like everything has to do with that.
I get a lot of texts about that. I haven't gotten the voting ones, but I get a lot of texts about that.
You gotta stay off those websites. All right. Quit giving your phone number to those sites. Anyways, so what are you doing this weekend?
You know what? I actually have dinner plans with some friends that we have been trying to get together with for like over a year, but don't know where we're going yet, so stay tuned.
I will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. What do we have this weekend? Probably gonna lose another soccer game.
Yep.
And watch the Bengals lose. Mm-hmm. It's just a bunch of losing.
Yeah. See? That's why I just don't even bother having time for sports. I just mow my lawn and bake my chocolate chip cookies. And
you say mow the lawn or mum a lawn?
Mow the lawn.
Oh.
Yeah. I mowed my lawn this weekend, baked some chocolate chip cookies. I didn't even sit down until 7:30 yesterday. It was lovely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
Crazy.
No time for sports.
It's nuts.
Just nuts.
Okay. Well, if you're looking for something to watch on TV, you should check out Ted Lasso on Apple TV, which, as everyone has told me, it's only $4.99. Why can't you get it? It's only $4.99. I'm like, we have like 9 other subscription services.
Yeah. I got it for free because I didn't even actually buy a phone, but I used my warranty to get a new one, and they gave me a year for free.
Everyone I've talked to has it for free.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Apparently, I am the only person that has to pay $4.99 for this because everyone else gets it. My wife and they're like, it's totally worth it for that show alone. And something with Jennifer Aniston.
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
Some movie with Tom Hanks, and you have to get it.
Yeah.
And they release the show once a week, so it's like you wait all week for it. They're like, back in the day.
Now I paid the $30 for Mulan. It was cheaper than going to the theater, but I would have just waited till December. Wait till December, folks.
Oh, it comes out for free?
Don't pay the $30 for Mulan Premier Access.
Well, so I'm trying to figure out, like, there's a 2-week trial for the Apple Plus or whatever.
Just find 2 weeks where you're not too busy and just get it all in.
I guess. Anyways, so you would like this. It's starring Jason Sudeikis.
Love him.
Basically, he's like an American football coach, and he goes to England because some wife's trying to take down the team so her husband can't be happy. And she hires, like, the worst
like
coach
Major
possible,
League.
But it turns out everybody loves him because he's just the sweetest guy in the world or something, and it's not appropriate for kids. That's all I know.
Yeah, all right. Sounds good.
So, you should watch it.
I'll check it out. If you're looking for an activity, Virtual Oktoberfest is starting on September 18th. Tri-Staters will be able to celebrate Oktoberfest Cincinnati in the house by ordering Oktoberfest Cincinnati celebration packs from online vendors. Kits include decorations, party favors, and a list of official Oktoberfest restaurants to order food. You can also join the Chicken Dance Live on Zoom September 19th. Guess who won't be doing that?
Yeah. And unfortunately, you know what? It seems like whenever we talk about a local business, it's this stupid
City Flea again.
Well,
probably because there are so many local businesses that participate.
Well, yeah, but they must make no money.
Yeah.
Or they must make enough to get them by, and then the next week they have to go.
It depends on the weather. It's rough.
It just, like, it's so bad. I'm not even going to talk about it. Like, can we think of just on the spot, is there any other business that we can talk about that's not frickin' City Flea?
Queen City Alchemy. They just released a new line of skincare products based on their...
Oh my gosh, you're doing your influencer thing. No.
But I do really love it.
No.
Candles and earrings from local makers and...
Just had a BOGO, get 150% off t-shirts.
Are they still doing it or they just did?
They just did it. Who knows if it'll keep going.
Okay, well, we still can't hear what you're saying. That makes this so awkward that you keep talking. All right. So, local bit. Okay, here's what we'll do. Okay.
How about we cover the burbs? Let's cover the burbs.
Let's go up to the burbs.
Good local business out by you, Brett.
You know what? There's a local community popping up soon.
Oh, let's hear about
Creeksong
it.
at Meadow Lane Farm.
That sounds interesting. Tell me about it.
Well, I will, because we need to write off this podcast, all the money we're spending on it. So we got to talk business at least for a moment.
There we go.
But if you are interested in living or moving to the Lebanon area, which is cute as shit.
Oh, love downtown Lebanon.
And you want some space, and you want to build a custom home, there's a new community opening that's called Creek Song of Meadow Lane Farm. You can go to creeksongcommunity.com to check it out. But build the home of your dreams.
That's fantastic. Now, a lot of people that I work with that think about building new homes, their biggest problem is that most new home communities, you are just right on top of your neighbors. I was looking at a house on the west side the other day, $427,000, and I could probably, I'm not
somersault.
I can't.
That's how I do things. In
yeah,
measurements.
I could somersault to the neighbor's house. What's the minimum lot size up?
Well, so here's the thing. All right, imagine a circle of houses with a bunch of acreage out the front door and woods in the back door. Okay.
Oh.
So it kind of gives you backyard privacy and a ton of depth in the front, but they're only on quarter-acre lots so that they're nice, between quarter-acre and half-acre.
Okay.
So it's easy to maintain. So there's that option. Or you can buy in the back where all the cool kids sit, just like the bus, and get bigger lots and build whatever you want and get more space. So you can get an acre and a half if you want.
Oh, wow.
Whatever.
That's impressive.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
Anyways,
check it out. What was that website again?
That's creeksongcommunity.com. Screw City Flea. But anyways, that's all for This Week in Cincinnati. Do us a favor and share this podcast on your social media, as well as rate us and review us on iTunes. If you have any ideas for guests and have contact info, slide into Alyssa's DM. And if she has time being an influencer, she might respond. Or you can go to our Facebook page or our TikTok until it's over today, I think.
Oh, that sounded like the dirtiest thing you've ever said.
Well.
Don't forget to check us out on YouTube.
What? Why was that dirty? Slide into your DM?
It just was, it was,
okay. Well, anyways, stay tuned for the cleanup with our producer, Ryan Taulbee, as he re-records everything he said throughout this podcast so that it makes some sort of sense. And also corrects all the misinformation we tried to feed you as fact throughout the episode. For Alysa and myself, have an amazing week this week in Cincinnati.
Hello guys, and welcome to the Cleanup with producer Ryan. We've got just 4 things to go over today. First of all, Kroger, so they are ending their plastic bags by 2025. They're going to end them here in Cincinnati over the next year or so. But Kroger owns they employ over 500,000 people all across the country in all these different sectors and different stores. So they're going to implement their bag-free policy across the country by 2025. Also, 76 teams. I did confirm that there are 76 teams playing in the college football official schedule this year. I think the Big Ten though is maybe gonna jump in late or maybe play in the spring. It's really unclear, but if UC has ever had a chance to win it all, this is the year. My top 5 breweries are going to be Westside Brewing, their Common Ale, their Hefeweizen. Their Hefeweizen is the best beer I've ever had in my life, no doubt. Number 2 would be Rheingeist. I'm a sucker for the Rheingeist. What can I say? Number 3, Brewdog. I've been there 6 times in the past 2 months because they have amazing food and they have great beers. And they're always cycling in new stuff every time I'm there. So give them a shout out, Brewdog. Great place to be. Number 4, Braxton. And number 5, Mad Tree. So all of those are probably pretty well known. But I just want to give Westside Brewing and Brewdog some love. And also just want to say, please vote. Don't not vote. Very important election. I won't tell you who to vote for, but let's just say it's very important that you do vote if you want things to change from the shit show they are now. And that is all we have for This Week in Cincinnati. And always, guys, we will see you next week on This Week in Cincinnati. Bye.